Today we're looking at new pieces in my Sunrise Sunset series, Land of Plenty series, and in my Flourish Abstract Floral series. Hi, I'm Dorothy Fagan. My studio is here in Virginia on the Chesapeake Bay, and we are open on Saturdays and by appointment. And so if you'd like to stop by for a personal visit, you can make an appointment on my website and look in the show notes down here and find the link. We'll do personal online Zoom visits and also in-person visits. So if you're in Virginia or Maryland or North Carolina, you're probably within driving distance, and I would love to meet you. Today we're looking at a brand new piece from my Land of Plenty series. And my Land of Plenty series has been going on for, oh my gosh, I can't even remember when. Sometime back in the 80s. I hate to admit, 40 years, 45 years. So these are abstracted landscapes, and over the years they have changed a bit. It used to be that the series was very typically misty mountains with little cottages way off in the distance. And as you can see, my most recent one is the cottages and the heartland here, the meadow, is in the foreground of the painting. And this really shows the transformation that's happened in my life in 45 years of painting, that things that were faraway dream, paintings that were titled things like Mist in My Heart or Resting Place, now, oh gosh, what did I call this one? Waking Dream. Waking Dream, this is Waking Dream. So let's look at it up close. I'm using a really heavy impasto paint. I use a palette knife. There's some collage underneath in the lower ranges. This particular painting I've been working on for several years. I hate to admit that, but I have. And I've developed a technique where I draw back into the painting with willow charcoal. So that's the cross-hatching that you see here. Down in here. So the little cottages have become more abstracted over the years. You can see how they're more structural rather than a dab of paint off of a tiny brush. They're now applied with a palette knife. So I use a rather large palette knife. I call it my trowel, so it's a much more, I want to say, earthy way of painting. It's much more physical than I used to paint when I was younger. So when I first started painting landscapes, I would paint the landscape out there, like it was this dream that I hadn't quite yet reached. And there would be like a wispiness to wanting to bring that dream into my life, wanting the piece of that dream. And quite frankly, that's really what drove my motivation to paint, was to create the piece that was missing from day-to-day life. And now the landscapes that I paint now are not way out there somewhere. The landscapes are the heartland within me. And they come from a really deep emotional place, a place where there is no words. So emotions, we think of emotions as being like one by one. We can choose whether we like this emotion. We like this one, but we don't like that one, so we want to get rid of that one. And we're going to keep this one. This is kind of like, yes, no, yes, no. But in all the years I've painted emotions, and near about 50 here, I rather think that emotions are multidimensional. They're not so distinguishable one from the other. And the good ones, quote unquote, and the bad ones intermix. So one painting can contain a myriad of emotional content, and they all sort of collide and intermingle and make each other more beautiful. Many times, the ones that we consider bad, or the ones that confront us, those are the ones that have the most healing power. They have the most gold. And I have found that when I'm willing to look at what that is, that feeling that I don't know, I don't have words for this, but my insides don't feel quite right. But if I'm willing to go in and express that in paint, in color, without the words, it can come from here and go directly out my arm onto the canvas without me having to think it. The brain is really slow at translating that emotional content, but the heart knows what this is, and the heart can deal with all these complex things. So the heart needs a channel. Here's the channel for the heart. Direct flow out the arm. And it's very physical, so I feel it in my body, and it comes out the pellet knife. And the willow charcoal, let me show you the willow charcoal. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's twigs of a willow tree, branches. They come in different sizes, and they've been charred. So unlike compressed charcoal that you might buy in an art supply store, the willow charcoal is not compressed. It's very sensitive to the touch. So I can make a light line or a dark line depending on how much oomph is behind my stroke. And this is very good at translating the EKG of the heart flow. Let's look at another painting. This one's a lot different than, it's more layers of glaze. This is called Gloria 2. So if we look at it up close, you'll see that I'm still working with a palette knife here, but the layers are more translucent. So there's more medium in my paint, and the layers, like in the other one, are built one on top of the other, but you're able to see through the layers. Let's go over here. So there's some texture, but not as deep as the other. Being on the coast here, on the Chesapeake Bay, I've been painting the Chesapeake Bay region for, oh gosh, we've been at the studio here in Matthews County since 2000, so 26 years today. And when I first came, I painted out on location. I would take my easel and a small canvas out on a narrow strip of beach, the Bethel Beach Sanctuary, near my home here in Matthews. And being out there on the landscape, I would kick my shoes off and put my feet in the sand, and that would give me the freedom to let my head go in the clouds, and I would match my colors to the sky. And of course, by the time you mix up what you think that color is and put it to the easel, to the canvas, it's changed yet again. The light keeps moving. And so it became much like a puppy matching its heartbeat to its mother. So this sunrise, sunset aligned my energy flow with Mother Earth. And over the years, my painting have become very much about being in alignment with Mother Earth and bringing out the divine feminine of Mother Earth. We treat Mother Earth awfully badly sometimes. Part of my mission is rectifying that. So this one is one that I did a couple of years ago, and I'm going to put one on the easel here in a second that's brand new. Okay. This is my most recent in my sunrise sunset. This one is called Solstice Sunrise. And again, it's very textural. Let's go up close here. Palette knife, areas where I've scratched with the palette knife, oil paint stick. It's still a little wet. Just a lot of emotional power behind this one. So over the years, as I've practiced letting the emotional content of my body find its way to the canvas, this one really felt like, oh gosh, well, I've said it all. I don't think I was holding anything back on this one. And that's a really good feeling. On the other end of the spectrum, this is a textile piece. So it's painted with acrylic on linen, and I have textile collage mixed in. So let's see if we can go up close a little bit. Oops. This is from my Flourish series, abstract floral. So over the years, as we've been in this house, I have the pond outside the studio. I created a garden of what I call my meadow garden. Frankly, it's easier for me to get flowers to grow on my paintings than it is to have them grow in my garden, because there's always a deer or a storm or something that will take them away in the garden. So you can see there's silk collage, Impasto acrylic paint, and my willow charcoal again. And all of this, the charcoal will be fixed. See if I can take it down there. Pieces, right now the piece is not stretched, and I was showing it yesterday online to a client in Charlottesville, and we were having a conversation about she has a living room area where the end wall is painted a deep teal. There's a white sofa in front of it. And then there's a large white wall with two rather good-sized chairs in front of it. and we were discussing the design idea of hanging this, stretching it on a stretcher bar and hanging it over the side chairs perpendicular to the green, the deep teal wall. So as opposed to painting the second wall and having too much dark teal in the room, the idea of having a counterbalance. So I'm very much about, when I paint in series, I think about the rectangles and how they fit into the architectural space, and that's what we were discussing in her home. So she has the white sofa against the dark teal wall. So if we put a light painting on it, similar to the coastal painting I just showed you, and then counterbalance this on the side wall, on the larger wall, this offsets the heavy dark on the end wall, and then the light painting over the light sofa creates a horizontal line to counterbalance the other. This piece is called Seeds of Wisdom and Prosperity. This would be a possible candidate for the deep teal wall. And with the elongated horizontal shape over a white sofa or a light colored sofa, it would create that horizontal line and then could be counterbalanced by the darker green and teal painting on the adjacent wall. So they work in tandem. One being, this one is, it's got a lot of subtle texture to it. So it really would suit well for a space where you can walk up close and enjoy the superfine texture. Of the surfaces. See if I can take it down a little lower. Again, some of the charcoal, and when I'm working with the charcoal, that's how these crosshatch lines are getting carved in here, because I'm working when it's wet, and then it creates the texture, and when I come back and paint on top of it, it makes these wonderful layers. Okay. Let's just take a look around the rafters here a little bit. Okay. All right, so look in the show notes for a link to the visit studio. I'm happy to give you a personal tour so we can discuss the ones that you're interested in seeing up close. And you can also find some of them on the website. And subscribe so that you can see them for next time. Thank you for visiting.